Good evening, everybody. It is great to be back here at the GPVWC, and we're here for the 15th round of the Superleague Lights Championship. I am Alex Skinner, and going to be doing the cameras. Alongside me on the commentary as well is going to be Caitlin Penny, and obviously, before we get this underway, we have to give a massive, massive shout out to Dawei Tapper, who is helping us out tonight with basically providing us the equipment to help us do all of the, cameras tonight due to some technical issues we have. Obviously, apologies for being late. We are getting everything as sorted as we can due to a couple of issues with R Factor 2 as well that have actually fixed themselves. Well, hey! So we'll be ready to hop into the race very, very shortly and get underway. But Caitlin, what we are really going to be looking forward to this, aren't we?
Yeah, thank you very much, Alex. Indeed, we definitely have something to look forward to today, because COTA is a fantastic track for racing. It produces some fantastic spectacles. It's very well designed, I'd say. Definitely one of Tilk's best circuits, designed to basically be a best of all of the various popular tracks around the world. But despite that, it has its own unique style, its own unique rhythm, and its own unique feel. And best of all, we could well see a championship decider today, as Matthew Williams has to score 16 more points than Lucas Schmidt, 17 more points than him rather, to keep the championship alive. That means that effectively he needs to finish first or second with Schmidt outside of the points. It's going to be a tough ask, and I think it's probably going to come down to Schmidt making a mistake if it happens.
That is true indeed. And as we get everything, as we get this ready and just trying to make sure that we, get everything as sorted as we can do in time, we've got a nice long race to look forward to here. And obviously, the circuit of the Americas, personally not one of my favorites, but it is definitely one of those circuits that I really, I don't actually mind driving, but the racing around here is absolutely amazing. You've got that really fast flowing middle sector alongside, that front, you've got that very fast flowing middle sector, followed by the long straights at the end of the second sector and also the first sector, alongside that very, very long right-hander in Sector 3. So plenty of spots to maybe get up close and personal, and we've seen in multiple forms of racing. It's definitely going to be fun.
Yeah, certainly. I'm very much looking forward to it, and we're about to get underway as well because the warm-up session has come to a close. Unfortunately, we missed bringing qualifying to you. We were having some technical issues. Thank you again to Dawei Tapper for helping us sort those out, and also good job to you as well, Alex, because I could hear that was a very stressful job. Whichever the case, we now have some racing ahead of us. It's going to be Martin Gosby starting on pole position in the TR Blue Bus car, and behind him the two championship rivals Schmidt and Williams will be second and third, crucially with Schmidt ahead of Williams. So Williams is really going to have to work for this one.
He is indeed, Caitlin, and well, we all know how these events go, and especially with people like Matthew Williams here on the cards. You've got those entertaining races, you've got those possibilities for, for just that action, for that overtaking mode. And with Gosby currently being the fastest in the warm-up, he's looking to, come off of what was a very, very good round last time at Suzuka, and also a very good round at the Singapore circuit as well. But of course, we'll be able to see what's going to happen this round as we just go into the race session.
Yeah, just heading in now. Martin Gosby, of course, one of the best drivers of the second part of the series. It's a shame that he didn't make the full thing, because I imagine that if he had done, he would absolutely be a championship contender right now. Had 2 DNFs when he joined the series in Hockenheim and Belgium, but after that it's been second, first for him, and another victory maybe on the card today if he can convert this pole position into a strong race. So to be honest, I'm expecting to see Martin Gosby in the full Super League series next year. I reckon that he could challenge. In that, I think that it's going to be great to see him fighting with the properly big guys. Not that these guys aren't big guys in this league. Of course, Lucas Schmidt, we've known him for a very long time, as we have Matthew Williams, Lauren Kiersmakers, even longer than both of them, and all of the other various drivers in this grid as well. It's a very strong grid of drivers, and we're going to see them get underway for the formation lap in less than 50 seconds time now, Alex.
Yep, and with that, obviously, the drivers, the first few deciding to come out onto the grid, we get the beautiful opportunity to relax and watch some outstanding racing today. And obviously, Caitlin, you've seen this series as much as I have, being a team boss in this, and you've had your eyes on certain drivers throughout the year, I can tell. But who do you think's going to win this one?
Oh, well, it's very tough to say. I don't think it's going to be Schmidt, and I know that's a controversial thing to say because he is the championship leader and over the course of the series has been the best driver on average. However, I reckon that Gosby and Williams both have much more reason to fight than he does, and so does Hutchinson, you should say, who's starting from fourth position, because of course Gosby, he's joined the championship late. He's got nothing to lose really because he's not fighting for the top positions in the championship. So he's just going to want to go for it to prove himself and to make the most out of it. Schmidt has everything to lose because he's leading this championship by 41 points. He knows that all he has to do is finish in the top. Let me work it out quickly. All he has to do is finish in the top 8, I believe, and he wins the championship today. So I don't think that he's going to be taking too many risks. Williams, however, needs to take risks. So I reckon that it's not going to be Schmidt. It's probably going to be either Gosby, Williams, or Hutchinson. So I'm going to take the safe and boring response and say it's going to be Gosby from pole.
Well, this will be the intriguing one then, Caitlin, because obviously I have to believe in my own boys, Kian and Mark, but I do have a feeling that Williams might take this if he can get ahead of Schmidt and Gosby early on. But again, Gosby has proven to be very quick in these recent times, so all the chance in the world that things could go the way of the Gosby Meister. But of course, we've got to just keep an eye on how everything goes. And I definitely can believe that a certain Chris Butcher might surprise a few faces here, Caitlin.
Yeah, Chris Butcher starting from 7th position. We've seen him racing in a lot of other categories throughout the course of his time at GPVWC, and this year, of course, he's already taken a podium. He took it at the Canadian round, coming 3rd behind Schmidt and Williams earlier on this year. And with Gosby in the field as well, that does make it slightly harder for him. Although I can definitely see him taking a podium today if maybe if something goes wrong for the top 3, or if he gets his strategy slightly, or if one of them gets their strategy wrong. And I can imagine that Butcher will be disappointed if he doesn't come away from this one with a top 5. He definitely has the pace for it as the drivers line up on the grid.
Yeah, and we'll see straight from Gosby's point of view, Caitlin, that there is definitely going to be plenty to watch and to watch and view here. But here we go. The lights will shortly come on, and the race will shortly get underway. Apologies for any of the audio issues. Just a couple of technical difficulties on my end. But of course, we get ready for the race. The lights will come on. And they will go out. And we will get ready and we will go. And it's a great start by Gosmi. Schmidt and Hutchinson actually already looking to the left side. And Schmidt's gone into Hutchinson. That's going to spin Hutchinson round. Big crash into turn one. Hutchinson actually managed to get away. It looked bigger than I thought it was going to be. But Schmidt losing the rear end. Turn one has come across the front of Hutchinson. Does everyone get through the S's okay? Yes, they do so far. But Schmidt will hold third. Gosby will drop. Will keep that lead, sorry. And Hutchinson will drop down majorly here. So, lap one, and already things are going wrong for the boys that need these points the most. The Chaos boys looking for that fourth place in the standings. But for a team like HRT and also for a team like Red Arrow, that is the perfect start to their race, gaining a place off the bat.
Yeah, and that's really, really gutting for Hutchinson. I know you're supposed to remain impartial, but you have to say that was Schmidt's fault. Now down towards the arena section, Rybachuk and Keersmakers are side by side for fourth. Rybachuk was actually smoking off the start line. You often see that when cars are forced to stand still for a while, and there's slight contact, and Rybachuk does a much better job than Sebastian Vettel did of holding the car in that situation, slides it sideways, but does lose a place to Richards and also to Butcher now, so drops down into to 7th position. Also further back there were problems for James Early, and he had to start from the pit lane and all of that as well, so he's coming through from the back in all of that. But it's Gosby who leads after the first lap, followed by Williams and then Schmidt. So Williams has jumped Schmidt for second due to Schmidt's mistake, and Williams now will have the championship fight in his mind. He'll still need something to happen to Schmidt, but he will want to get past Gosby to elevate his chances as best as he possibly can.
Definitely indeed. And I was having a look. White versus Leonov was going on in the background there. No changes made, but Leonov is getting racy, and that is what we love to see. We love to see those guys more in the mid-pack of the table, getting racy with the guys up front. And, you know, a top 10 qualifying for Ivan Leonov is definitely something to actually applaud as well. But just, you know, currently on board with Matthew Williams, and just, you know, just looking as he goes down that back straight. No DRS yet, only lap 2, but definitely plenty of time for him to get that move done on Martin Gosby. And as I said, you know, I think he's the one that might do it. Meanwhile, Greg to the inside of Ivan Leonov. Greg gets the move done on Ivan Leonov, and will put that stacks into the top 10. They have not been in the top 10 for a long time now, and if they can finish there, I think they're going to be pretty happy with themselves.
Yeah, that would be the Terence Grech, who announced his retirement from GPVWC 2 years ago to this week, I believe. And, well, how's that working out for him? Currently running in 9th position for the Stax racing team, chasing down Kian White, and doing a very, very good job so far. I should also mention that Red Arrow have a great opportunity to wrap up the Teams Championship today. Their main rivals in that are Cosmos Siki Japan, who have Lucas Schmidt currently running 3rd, and also Lazaros Philippakos subbing in for Mike Bell. He's currently running 25th, so I'm wondering whether he maybe didn't get enough practice for this race, or something, or maybe he had an outstanding penalty. But whatever the case, currently running down in 25th position out of the 27 in this race.
This is you know, the thing I was speaking to the Red Arrow guys about this earlier, actually. Realistically, with how the season has gone for Cosmos Seiki Japan, and, you know, in particular Mike Bell, and although I'll have a look at that a bit later, because Matthew Williams has got the run on a certain Martin Gosby, and he might actually have a look to the inside. No, he's gonna keep himself calm. He's gonna behave himself and not go for any rash lunges this early on. Long race ahead of him. Plenty of time to get that place and maybe even work a strategy out that might benefit him, because if you can't get past him there, you're pretty much stuck behind the car in front through this final sector. Unless, you know, you are someone that, manages to, how do I put it? Unless you're someone that's in a One Endurance LMP1 and can barge their way through.
Yeah, I haven't seen that move, but I've heard about it. And of course, also, your opponent could always do a caveat 2015. Anyway, Gosby still just about leading from Williams. The gap was just over half a second across the finish line. And that is well and truly DRS range. And we're going to get the DRS this lap around. So Williams can really start to attack now. And he's going to want to get past past Gosby, sorry, as quickly as he possibly can. Because even if he can't wrap up even if he can't keep the drivers' championship alive today, which he may still, if something happens to Schmidt, he's still fighting for the constructors' championship, and also he wants to prove a point and get another victory to say, well, you may have got me this time, Schmidt, but I'm coming for you in the future. Here comes Williams in the slipstream with the DRS, goes to the left-hand side of Martin Gosby, leaves it later, and Gosby really couldn't have done anything about that because Williams just had so much overspeed, and that is nicely done from Williams in the braking zone. He takes the lead of the race. Gosby is demoted to second.
That is what Red Arrow needed. They need to get this lead early. They need to get that gap early because they know that if they don't get that gap early, that could be a very big potential loss later on, because we know that Martin Gosby is very good towards the latter stages of the race. He's always seemed to keep those tyres alive in a way that really just prioritizes, you know, the tyre life, including the speed with it. And, you know, that is something that he's always really strived on. And as much as I know everyone who knows him from Formula Simracing will laugh at me for that statement, he does have a very good habit of being able to do it. And the longer that Matthew Williams can, you know, the longer that Matt can hold this lead, the better it's going to be for him.
Well, Martin Gosby, of course, is back into the lead of the race now, which is going to throw a spanner in the works because that was not in Williams' plan. He wanted to disappear off into the lead of the race, and now he's going to have to pull that move all over again. So, as they come towards the straight, Williams does have DRS, but he's much further back than he was a few laps ago, and. In fact, Lucas Schmidt now also within DRS range of Gosby, so Schmidt may be about to take advantage of all of that, and that would just add insult to injury. Meanwhile, further back, Richards and Rybachuk are side by side, and Rybachuk slithered. Oh wow, he slithered way wide, and now he's under attack from Kean. White is up his inside. That was very close. They both see each other, give each other just about enough room, even though there is a slight tap. Front wheel to rear wheel, they both get away with it, and that was good spatial awareness there from Martin Rybachuk, because if you'd done that in some lesser categories with some lesser drivers, you'd have had a car spinning across your nose cone.
That is, you know, that is very, very true indeed, Caitlin. We've, you know, as you said, we have seen this way too often in lower categories where drivers just haven't left each other enough room. But, you know, Kean and Martin, they know how to race hard, and Kean's actually stuck and has got Terence Grech right behind him now. And, you know, and as much as I was, you know, just looking at something else, Hutchinson is still stuck in 17th. He hasn't made up really any places, almost side by side to the S's. Jukka-Pekka Laulu. Absolutely. Sorry, not Lucky-Pekka. Danny Van Der Neet getting a move done in the S's. Beautiful driving by Danny Van Der Neet. This is the Danny Van Der Neet I remember from my days of watching him drive. This is the Danny Van Der Neet I've been waiting to see back in a car for absolutely ages. And in the background, I believe that was, I'm not sure that is actually in the background. I can't exactly tell, but that looked like one of the other Stax cars. I want to say that's Mikael Tunamala, but oh my word, what a race.
Tunamala's having a fight with Clip as well, and they're not too far behind. They've got Mayer splitting the two fights. Oh, and Tumala's locked up. Tumala goes off, and it looked to me there as if he just misjudged the whole thing. That was a huge misjudgment.
He's going to rejoin right in front of Lindberg.
He's going to be passed by Lindberg. No, he's not.
No, he rejoined right to the front of this battle between Lindberg and Rietveld. And Rietveld dives it up the inside, does a Jose Maria Lopez, and he's still going to be side by side. Oh, there's contact between the two. That's going to allow George Whitehouse to the inside, and he will go through. Will Whitehouse get Lindberg? No, he won't, but Kaz Rietveld is on the inside. Be careful there, Kaz, because it's not going to work out in your favour, my friend. And it's just that case of, do you fight back instantly or not? Meanwhile, Marcin Rybachuk and Matt Richards were side by side again. Well, in this case, no move made, but it was very, very close indeed. But Rybachuk is getting very, very racy on the back of that Drake Racing car of Richards. And yeah, Matt Richards up in 6th. Kudos to Matt Richards, the man who was, you know, who's never really confident on his pace or his tyre life. So great to see Richards actually up the front at the moment and see if he can make a move down the back straight as well. The lead will go out to 1.1 seconds, Caitlin. No DRS for the leaders, and Butcher under pressure from Keersmakers. This, as much as it's not crucial for the title fight, this is crucial for that fight between HRT Chaos and TR Blue Voss. And there goes Rybachuk on Richards. Rybachuk diving to the inside of Richards. He's going to then check up on the exit, allow White onto the back of this, and this is that crucial fight. Keersmakers, Rybachuk, and White, those three fighting for the, well, I was about to say the highest place, but no, the best, second best TR, or, you know, car in the fight for 4th in the standings. You know, there can be at the moment. And with Hutchison down out of the points in 16th, Kearns got to do all the work now.
Yeah, of course, those three teams separated by roughly 50 points. 48 to be precise, is the difference between the three of them, HRT, TR Motorsport, and Chaos. And those three, that whole chain of them having a ding-dong battle further back. Greg there pressuring White, and White not taking the ideal line through turn 1 there. Not going to go side by side through the S's though. That's something that only Danny van der Neer can pull off, and it was a wonderful move from van der Neer, absolutely slithering through the S's, held it wonderfully. But anyway, as we continue down the straight, we're going to get more slipstreaming taking place now. Williams does still have DRS from Gosby, as does Schmidt to Williams. Keersmakers to Butcher, and well, to be honest, pretty much everyone from Keersmakers back has DRS in this train. They're all going to open it as they shoot down the back straight towards the arena section, and it looks to me, well, Keersmakers probably could have stayed in the slipstream of Butcher for a bit longer there and had a proper lunge, although decides better of it and stays 5th for the time being.
Definitely indeed. Just having a look, Leonov had a little look there because Greg got nicely defensive. We've already had 2 retirements, by the way. Hygo Poom and James Early out of the race already, which is a shame to see because we know that James Early can do really well if he makes it to the end. And well, Hygo has been that solid second scoring driver for MDR for most of the races so far. And speaking of MDR, why is Jack Mayer all the way down in 14th? He's had outstanding pace these past couple of races. So it's a shame to see him so far down. Hopefully he can get back up there on strategy later on. But will anyone from this train make a move? Or nearly, as Keersmakers nearly goes into the back of Chris Butcher with how late he was braking into turn 1. But no one able to really make, you know, an assertive move so far. And I think that's what, you know, this series brings. It brings assertive but safe moves as Keersmakers seem slow through the S's, allowing the TR just to close right up. But then again, I think that could be the upgrades because that diffuser downforce for the HRT compared to everyone else here, it's a lot less and it's a lot worse. But as we come onto the back straight once again, we're going to see the difference it really makes because Keersmakers has got a better exit than Butcher, it looks like. DRS will open. The engine mixture will increase. Keersmakers will look to the outside of Chris Butcher. He will brake later than Chris Butcher. They will be side by side. He will get a very decent exit indeed. He'll be on the inside of Butcher. Late braking again. Rybachuk has a look. Rybachuk side by side as well. Here's Matt Richards as well trying to have a look. But Rybachuk to the inside, it's not going to make it work. He might get a slower exit than Richards out of the exit in the corner. They will come through the long right-hander, but that move is not going to be done. But Keersmakers, a beautifully opportunistic move with the DRS. And now White trying to have a look at Richards as well. It's not going to work there. You can't go around the outside of the penultimate corner. You will find yourself off the track, and you will find yourself getting a very easy-to-get cut track. And remember, 3 strikes, and you're in for a drive-through.
Yeah, a couple of huge battles going on at the minute. We had that one between Kiersmix and Butcher, with Rybachuk almost getting involved, but also further back, Greg is now coming under a pressure from Leonov, and also last time round, Danny van der Neer came under serious attack from Bastian Peister and actually did a really good job of holding him up, as Matthew Williams made a slight mistake and lost about 6/10 to Godspeed, slipped slightly further back into the clutches of Lucas Schmidt. So a lot going on at this point in time. We've also had our first 2 retirements, I'm afraid. So we've lost James Early and Hygo Poom at this point in time. Oh, someone's had a spin and it's Jack Mayer.
Ah, my Jack has gone and spun it. No, Jack, why? Ah, it's a shame to see.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, that is Terence Grech and Ivan Leonov. You mentioned this earlier, but that is also Rybachuk and Butcher. Rybachuk and Butcher side by side. That's going to be very close indeed. There is going to be the slightest bit of contact. Butcher on the inside, though. This is where it will be majorly important for Rybachuk to hold that overspeed. Not going to work. Butcher going to go defensive early. It's not going to work. But Rybachuk on the inside. Nearly contact between the two. I think there was actually contact. They're going to be side by side to the long right hand. There is Matt Richards involved as well. I think the downforce is just helping that Red Arrow, one of the best cars on the grid right now. And it's showing, and it's slowed both of them up to the penultimate corner, and in comes Rybachuk. Rybachuk the first to pit from the leaders. We'll see what he goes on to in a minute, but we've got to focus on this fight because Butcher, Richards and White all within the space of a second of each other. Will any move be done? No, it won't yet, but it's getting very close. So I'll have a look. What tyres does Marcin Rybachuk go on to? Because he's not the only car in the pits. Mayer and Grech are in the pits as well. Oh my word, Caitlin, that was very close indeed.
Limburg, Van der Neer, Hutchinson, Whitehouse, Mayer, Grech, they're all in the pits at this point in time, and most of them, I believe, have gone on to red tyres. However, actually, no, Limburg, Whitehouse and Mayer, in fact, Grech as well, they've all gone onto yellow tyres, so going for a slightly longer stint. It's only been Van der Neer and Hutchinson going for a set of reds, so going for a slightly shorter stint. Also in the pits this time around is Lazaros Filipakos, who's been struggling in this race so far, and I've also had a look briefly at why we saw the retirements from Poom and Early.
Oh, sorry, Caitlin. White to the inside of Richards. Oh, that was very late. And so I noticed this just as you were mentioning it. But White dived it down the inside of Richards off the back straight with the DRS. Beautiful move done. That promotes Kian up to 6th. And obviously this might be important strategy because if you see where Rybachuk's come out, he's come out in relatively clean air at the moment. So for these guys now who might want to capitalize on this, especially for the guys that run that similar pace, they're going to want to get that time. They're going to want to come in out of this traffic, and in comes Richards. Richards, the second of these front runners to pit, and well, we'll go back to you, Caitlin, to let you carry on with what you were going to say.
That's okay. Also, further back, Hutchinson pulled a move on Van der Neert, and while they're outside the points at the minute, those two pitted last time around, so that is going to be for position, and that's going to be for quite a high position when it all sorts out as well. Also into the pits, Mikael Tuomala. Now, I was just going to give you an update on the instance. James Early appeared to just give up on the third lap of the race. I didn't see any damage to his car, and Hygo Poom had a disconnection, so that's why those two are currently out of the race. And Matt Richards has gone on to hard tires. My goodness, that's the first time we've seen those in a long time. But we're hearing from Wopke Hoekstra that tire wear is really quite high here. At least it was in Super Cup, and that's why these drivers are going for longer stints. So Richards going for a very alternative strategy, and we'll see how that works out for him.
Yeah, it's very true indeed. And also, just going to point out a couple bits. On the overlay, it currently shows the ultra soft tyre runners as not having a colour. Tried to sort that out. It's due to the way that the chroma key works, and I'm very sorry on that. But of course, so any tyre that doesn't have a colour is the ultra softs. But just looking as well, I'm looking at Rybachuk right now, who's looking to size up Pedro Mora into the end of the back straight. Gets that move done and dusted. He's come out a fair distance ahead of Matt Rich. You can just see in the back of shot there. That has worked out in his favour.
Gosby and Williams have both pitted from the lead of the race, so 1 and 2 are in. Stop in the box. Let's see Well, Gosby going onto the yellow tyres, so going for a slightly longer stint. Williams going for the red, so a different strategy here between the two of them. That means that Williams will theoretically be faster at this point in time, and I reckon that is probably going to end up costing Williams slightly, because he's probably going to catch up to the back of Gosby, despite the fact he appears to have lost a bit of time in the pit stages, and he's going to probably struggle to get past him as well. So that may end up holding Williams up unless he can get past Gosby quicker, and it's potentially Williams going for one more stop than Gosby, but also potentially they're going for the same number of stops but in a different order. A couple of other drivers pitted that last time around as well, but interestingly the gap between Gosby and Williams has doubled.
Yeah, that is very true indeed, and also just trying to look at where Marcin Rybacek is at the moment. He's not far behind these guys. So, you know, there is definitely a potential for him to make some time up, actually. He's going to be right on the back of Thomas Andrea Harry Soa, and he's going to make a move on Thomas Andrea Harry Soa, coming into the, coming off of the back straight. So I think that Rybacek has played a very smart strategy by coming in early out of the 3. And with him being on, the same strategy as his teammate, as Schmidt comes in, this could be the smartest play from TR Bluvos, that they have pulled all season, and I am actually looking forward to seeing how this plays out. We'll see what Lucas Schmidt goes on to as he's in the pit lane. He's on the softs as well. He's copying what Gosby and Williams do, and I'm trying to see, because Gosby's going to come out ahead. Where's Williams? Going to come out just ahead. And in the grand old scheme of things, where is Marcin Rybacek? Well, he's jumped White. He's ahead of White. He's not jumped Keersmakers, though. So that is the important one for him, because he was trying to jump Keersmakers, remember? But, another story, Kieran White has jumped Butcher in the stop, Sir Caitlin.
Yeah, Kieran White just about getting ahead of Butcher, and Butcher getting very wide there, losing all sorts of grip, because partly he's on cold tyres and also partly he's in the turbulent air of Kieran White's car, and you saw him just struggling to find any traction at all through the S's there. So White's got that done and dusted there up into 6th place, meaning that after the pit stages, it's Gosby followed by Williams, Schmidt, Keersmakers, Rybacek, White, Butcher, Leonov, Richards just passing Mora there for 9th and 10th position, and I believe that all of these drivers have stopped. Maybe I'm not sure if Mora has. No, he hasn't yet. So the top 9 have all stopped. Mora and Thomas Wach, who's just behind Mora there, both yet to stop, and I think very nearly going side by side through turn 12 and into the arena section. Mora and Wach fighting just before their pit stops, and it seems to me as if Mora's got the edge for now.
Yeah, and I'm just seeing who, hasn't pitted. Hutchinson going for a longest first stint, maybe going to go onto an extremely, he's going to try and go as far as he can that second stint. We know, I think we brought the 3 softest tyres to this race, so not much in the way of strategy for the Chaos boys. So Richards actually might be one of the smartest drivers on the grid here, actually going for a long, for a higher tyre compound, as Keersmakers has been passed by Rybacek, as I believe you actually mentioned, Caitlin. But also, that is Hutchinson and Vok, because Lalu's gone by. Vok is out wide. Through goes Mark Hutchinson. That was actually quite nice to get him on the inside before the first S. And now that's going to allow Lalu to get right onto the back of Pedro Mora. Danny Van Der Neat out of this race as well, Caitlin. Did you see what happened at all?
No, I didn't. In fact, that's a huge shame, because we'd seen Van Der Neat was running very, very well on the fringe of the top 10, and he appears to be well and truly out of the race now. He lost it all by himself coming out of the arena section and spun it into the barrier. That's a weird one. But anyway, the end to a very dramatic race for Danny Van Der Neat, cut off all too soon. Lalu
having a look at Murray, actually on the outside of Murray. He's gone to the inside, and then Hutchinson's locked up. He's locked up and got it into the side of Thomas Vok, and now here comes a gaggle of cars. Paisler, Clip, and I believe that's I'm trying to see which one of the Well, I believe that's Limburg in the background. So hello, Johan Limburg. Meanwhile, Paisler and Moore are side by side coming into the penultimate corner. That can only end one way. Both of them get through. No one pits as yet, but Hutchinson. He needs to be careful, and potentially, I think he might have damage from that, that first instance, and then have that more damage from that second instance. So, just got to be careful. And he's gone wide again. Through goes Matthew Klipp. Through goes Johan. Through goes Johan Limburg. No, he's gonna hold off Limburg for now. But too many mistakes coming from the Irishman. Just not what he needs to be doing this early on. And Gosby again, Caitlin, is at DRS range of Matthew Williams. So maybe Williams has pushed those tyres a bit too far.
Yeah, definitely not working out well for Matthew Williams. He would have wanted to stretch the legs of those softer tyres. Not the softest tyres we have here today, though. Those would be the purple tyres. But he's on the reds, which are the second softest, followed, of course, by the yellows, third softest, and then the hardest tyre we have is the weight ring tyre, and not every team has those. But anyway, Williams not using it to his advantage. Gosby doing a great job to keep the lead of the race on those slightly harder tyres, and that is very, very important for this race. That puts Gosby in a wonderful, wonderful position for the next few stints of this race. I believe he's just fallen back into DRS range there, so Williams could still have a chance at getting past Gosby, but it's taken far too long for his liking, and I believe that Gosby definitely has a significant advantage by this stage in the race. It may only be a second on track, but in terms of the effective order, I'd reckon this is about 10 seconds.
Yeah, and coming into turn one, it was 1.1 seconds, the gap between the leaders. This could be very interesting indeed. And obviously, as you know, just going to completely forget the team's title permutations for now, because realistically, it's going to Red Arrow at this point, unless a miracle can happen for the Cosmos Seiki Japan team. But the Drivers' Championship, this is where it gets interesting. Obviously, as you said earlier, Caleb, was it 17 points that Williams needed here?
Yes, it is. 17 more points than Schmidt. So not just 17 points, he could get that for finishing second, so he would keep it alive. It's not just that, he also needs to finish 17 points ahead of Schmidt. And as it stands, Schmidt would pick up just 4 points fewer than Williams. So I'm afraid for Williams, it looks very much like Schmidt's going to wrap up the championship here.
Of course, and unless something absolutely tragic happens, which, of course, as commentators, I've officially now just cursed it, we don't want to happen. But I have a habit of somehow cursing people, so I know I'm going to get a very angry message from a very angry Geordie team boss in a minute, going, don't you curse my drivers ever again. But, of course, Lucas looking very confident to wrap the championship up. He has been pretty much dominant all year, and, has been one of those drivers that has just kept on going, and, those guys, that top three, have actually got an 8-second lead over Marcin Rybachuk at the moment. So TR Bluvos, that P4 is looking very tasty indeed. And,
Contact between Mora and Mayer. They've both gone wide and somehow not spun. And now Mora peels into the pits. And he's missed the pits. He's missed the pit entry. He's going to have to reverse from there. He's going to have to reverse again. That's going to cost him a lot of time there. He went for a longer stint from the start of the race on the yellow-walled tyres. He got passed by 3 people on that last lap, and now he's missed the pit entry as well. So I'd say probably just leaving those tyres far too long there from Pedro Mora, and he's going to have to stop at least one more time in this race because he's gone on to another set of softs, another set of yellow-walled softs, but we knew that anyway.
Yeah, it's just a case of seeing how these strategies work out. We won't really know until those final stops start coming in. I don't think anyone's going to be able to do a one-stop here. If anyone does, I don't even know what I'd do, actually, to be fair. I've said so many things over the past I've had to do. I don't want to even try for this one, because I know someone will. I know what Matthew Klipp is like with doing one-stop strategies, so I'd rather not. But meanwhile, Bastian Paisler, Thomas Vock, they're having a bit of a ding-dong battle as Paisler looks very tight coming into the end of the second sector. But meanwhile, actually, Matthew Williams was very close to turn one, only 3/10 back. Fastest first sector of all last time by. It's game on for the leaders. It's game on through the S's. And Gosby is definitely looking a bit slower through here. The tyres, I believe, were just being saved by Williams. So maybe he's starting to just push forward a bit now. And maybe he's going to find that, you know, just that, not that niche, but that nice, that Goldilocks zone of the tyres. And as they break into the hairpin, he is well within DRS range here. So this will be the one we watch. This will be the fight that we keep an eye on. And Gosby goes to the right, goes to the left. He can't move anymore. He's made his moves, but I believe it's enough just to stop the slipstream advantage for Matthew Williams. And there you go indeed. He holds that lead nicely. But oh my, Caitlin, this is getting close.
Yeah, never mind DRS range there. He was within enough, he was close enough to give him a kiss as he went past there. Although, wasn't able to quite benefit going down towards turn 12, gets slightly on the curb there. That's a little bit worrying. I've seen drivers sliding it sideways. I noticed Jack Mayer doing that a couple of laps ago, but just about holding it steady. Whatever the case, he's still just 0.4 of a second behind Martin Gosby as they cross the start-finish line. Shuts DRS as he goes into the braking zone, gets a better exit to turn 1. Although next up, of course, come the S's, so it's just about sticking with the car ahead here, rather than challenging a move, unless your name's Danny van der Neer, who unfortunately has retired from this race. And once he gets onto the back straight, the straight between turns 11 and 12, that's when he can fight, surely.
That indeed as well, and this is what we've seen. That red arrow has got some very good top speed, and it's one of those cars that's sort of a really good all-rounder. But ever since Gosby has gotten in that TR Bluevos, that car has started to fly. And it is great to see, obviously. Again, Gosby working with the Chaos guys, working with the Flag to Flag guys. You know, a lot of support going on, and it's just shown as Williams, shows his nose, has a little look, doesn't make a move just yet, Caitlin. But we're looking very, very interesting for this race lead, because Williams, the more he pushes, the more he's wearing those tyres. The less Gosby does, the less those tyres are going to hate him at the end of this stint.
Yeah, but really, as I keep saying, Gosby has done the best job on his tyres here. It looks at this point in the race like Williams is doing better because he's going faster than Gosby. But on that set of tyres, of course he is, and it's very much playing into Gosby's hands that he's keeping Williams behind. That's why I said it wasn't the best decision for Williams to go onto the softer tyres when he did. But of course, he probably thought that Gosby was going to go onto the softer tyres as well, and he was rather unlucky that he didn't. But you've got to provide for situations like that in racing, and I'm sure that Williams knows what he's doing far better than I do. So we'll see what he can make of this. For the time being, still stuck behind Martin Gosby, when theoretically he should be long gone.
Well, you look at it, he's gained a lot of time again, and these guys, once they've been doing this, they have been checking out from Lucas Schmidt. The gap was 4 seconds on that last lap, but well, you said he needs to get it done soon, Caitlin. I think he might get it done now, because Gosby goes very, very defensive. Williams goes to the outside. They'll break as late as they dare. Sweep through the left hand, and they're going to be side by side on the exit. It's going to come back to Matthew Williams, who's going to break late as he dares. They've got traffic in near the front, which is, I believe, Lazarus Philippakos. But Williams is through once again. Williams back to the race lead here in Superleague Lights Kota. And this is all he needs at the moment. Maximum points for him so far. Schmidt, obviously, still not enough points, but it's just helping him get those points he needs. And, well, if Gosby can't do anything, all Williams needs to do is push like hell to get to his next stop. And I believe with the fact that Williams has gone Ultras Supers, he might be able to bolt on a set of Supers towards the end. This is going to be the interesting one, is who can go Ultras and who can go Supers at the end of this race, because the longer that Gosby can make these tyres work, the softer the compound at the end. Same with Williams. And with how Williams is driving, I think he might have to go on that Supers, whilst Gosby, who we know is quicker at the moment, can go on Ultras, and that is where it's going to get interesting.
So Williams now ahead of Gosby, and he's just got to start pushing. This is an essential time in the race for Williams, because he knows that he's only got a limited amount of life left in those red tires, and I'd say that rather than losing a lot of time trying to conserve them, it's probably best to push, but only so long as Gosby comes back at him here to the outside, wants to delay him even more, and successfully does so, even though he doesn't get through. But as I was going to say, it's well, if Williams knows that he can still make it to the end on what remains of his strategy, he needs to fly at this point in the race and make up the time he lost behind Gosby. Because although he looks like he's in the lead of this race at the minute, as he makes another mistake at the corner where he lost the lead on the second lap of the race, I think, and Gosby pops straight back through again. Williams may come back at him on the exit. He's got the better run. Doesn't have the DRS because Gosby got it before the braking zone. Williams now trying to get the switch back on the exit of turn 1. I'm afraid that was a massive mistake. I was just about to say that although Williams looked as if he was in the lead of the race, Gosby had the advantage. But I tell you what, Gosby has more than just an advantage now. He has the lead good and proper.
Another thing to note there, Williams got loose on the exit of turn 1, just a bit too much throttle application, and it meant that he couldn't challenge through the S section. And as you said, Caitlin, they tried to slow up. They've lost 3 seconds, almost, in the space of a lap. That's how hard they're fighting.
Yeah,
but again,
totally.
Here comes Williams, goes to that left side. Gosby has to defend, obviously, but the DRS for Williams, it's just so strong when you're that close, and he's going to look to the inside. He'll dive to the inside. He'll give Gosby as little room as he can. And Gosby goes, nah, I'm not going to fight that. So there you go. Allows Williams to go straight through, save those tyres as best as possible. And well, would you look at it? It's currently a Williams in the lead again. And a Gosby in a second. And a Lucas Schmidt looking for that top placer, Caitlin.
So Schmidt now within DRS range of the two ahead of him. He is on the harder tyres as well, and I'd say he's probably set to jump Williams at this rate. Meanwhile, behind, Clip and Hutchinson just went side by side, and Hutchinson there has got through into 12th position in all of that, and also Thomas Andrea Marasoa used his advantage to get past Miguel Tuamala into turn 12 there, made the move stick for 18th place, which could well turn into a point scoring position later in the race. So all change at this point in the race, and actually I'd say that probably the two drivers with the best situation at this point in time are Gosby and Schmidt, and if Schmidt can work his way past Gosby here, he will probably end up with the lead of the race when it all sorts itself out.
Another thing to bring up, Caitlin, you said that Matt Williams lost the lead at that same corner he did this lap. Actually, I'll bring that up in a minute, because here comes Gosby on the DRS, and there's Lucas Schmidt on the DRS as well. Gosby goes to the inside, has a look, not going to overtake yet, but something I want to bring up. If Williams has gone wide at that corner twice and held the same speed at that corner when he's gone off twice, if he goes wide there again and does the same thing, he's going to have a drive-through penalty for corner cutting or for track extending.
Potentially,
that
yeah.
is going to ruin his race.
It depends.
And that is actually that's going to take him off the podium, and that will give the Drivers' Championship instantly to Lucas no matter what. So, Matt is going to have to be extremely careful to not make any more mistakes there. But with a Martin Gosby on your tail, you don't exactly drive normally. You do have to be very careful, because Martin's not afraid to send one up the inside, and he does it very assertively as well. And if Williams gets loose on the exit here, he does. He gets loose again, has to keep it wide. It seems that Gosby is just able to keep up. And even with the dirty air, that CR is planted. It's not understeering. It's not oversteering. Although it did understeer there, so I've just shot myself in the foot again. God, I'm doing well at that recently. But Gosby is just able to keep that car where he needs it. Keep it right on the back of that red arrow. It's like he's got, it's like he's lassoed to the rear wing of it and just pulling himself. So all he needs to do is just holding it. It's like a tow rope. He's like, yeah, you just pull me along. I'll save my tyres and keep the same speed as Williams goes wide. This might allow Gosby to have a run down the back straight. The DRS will open for him. Actually, not far back. Ribachuk's only like 6 seconds back from this, by the way. So if this all goes wrong, he's going to get involved. But Gosby's going to look to the inside. He's going to brake later than Matthew Williams. And he is going to be side by side in the exit because Williams has still got it. Williams is going to be on the inside. They're going to brake as late as each other. Can Gosby hold it on the outside? There's a bit of a wiggle from Matthew Williams, and Gosby's going to dive it to the inside again. There's contact, but they both get through the corner. And Gosby on the outside. Has he got the move done? He's got the move done before the corner. And there's Williams going slightly wide through this. It's going to allow Lucas Schmidt to close up now. Williams needs to keep it within the lines. He's kept it within the lines, so there's a chance that he can get back past Gosby into turn 1. The DRS will open for Matthew Williams of Red Arrow. He said Red Archer. God, will go. It's close. He can. He'll dive it to the inside of turn 1. Very late indeed, and that will make that lead move back. Well, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, and Matthew Williams goes through into the lead of this race once again. But Lucas Schmidt is just sat there, eyeing up his prey, knowing that these two are burning their tyres up, and with Schmidt on the same strategy as Gosby, this is godsend for him. But Gosby, once again, right on the back of that Red Arrow through that first sector. As they come into the braking zone, the DRS will go back to Gosby, and Rivachuk, 5.6. He's getting closer, and he is definitely going to be involved. You can see him at the back of shot clearly now. But as Gosby's on that DRS, he's going to be in that slipstream. Can he do anything into the hairpin once again? No, he only has a look. He's not going to do anything. Save the tyres. Don't go for a suicidal lunge. But Caitlin, all they're doing now is slowing themselves up. And they're going to be involved in that Ribachuk fight soon.
Potentially, yeah. Ribachuk less than 5 seconds behind them now, as well, and he could certainly get involved here, especially if Williams stays in front. But what an amazing race there! Great driving from Gosby, especially, you have to say. Although Williams doing well as well to get back past Gosby and hold him off after that mistake he made just now. I don't think he's too much in danger of incurring a drive-through penalty. Of course, it really does depend on if anyone reports him, and also how badly he does it, how many times.
Oh no, Caitlin.
Yeah?
Sorry, no, it's automatic. It's an automatic cut detection there.
Right, okay.
I had that in Super Cup last night, funnily enough. But no, that's automatic cut detection, so he's on his final warning. Does it once more, he's going to get pinged for it. And that is going to... And they won't remove that, because that's a cut track. They don't remove those, Caitlin. That's why I was saying... That's why I brought it up, because I know how bad that can be around here.
Watch out, Matthew.
Yeah, watch out, Matthew Williams, indeed. Into the head once again. It's that gap between Schmidt and Ribachuk is back to 5 seconds, but it's actually... Oh no, back to 4.5. Oh my word, Ribachuk's got the hammer down. And Ribachuk on the same strategy as the 2 cars in front of him, remember? Gosby again, looking to the inside, not going to make a move. But this is going to be interesting, because Ribachuk could end up in the lead of this race at the next set of stops. That just take that in for a moment. Marcin Ribachuk, who was in 6th place, or 5th or 6th place, right? Earlier on, is now in contention to win this race. Because these guys are so focused on fighting each other that they're forgetting that there's another car closing in at a rate of knots. This is really interesting, and I want to see Marcin, take this victory, because it might just say to these guys, hold a minute, we need to stop fighting each other for 5 minutes.
Ooh, Ribachuk going for the undercut as well, pitting first. I expected the pit stops might start soon, since I saw Mark Hutchinson dive.
That'll be another set of softs, I think. I think that'll be another set of softs.
Goes on to another set of softs, indeed he does. I think even Leonov's going to do the same thing behind him. He was on the super softs, although I think he's probably going to... Yeah, there we go. Yellows go on to Ivanov's car. And I'm expecting a very similar thing to happen between the leaders soon. And we keep talking about Williams, Gosby and Schmidt, but you're absolutely right. Keersmakers, Ribachuk, and also potentially Keersmakers if things go really badly awry for these front runners. Also in contention here, and and it could be even more in contention depending on what happens between the three of them.
Oh, Caitlin, fight for the lead again. Gosby looks to the inside. Is going to late break down through. And they're going to be side by side. Williams, small mistake. Gosby, small mistake. Gosby's going to go through. He's going to have to go straight up defensive. Oh, and Williams is wide. Williams is wide. Through goes Lucas Schmidt. That super soft tire gamble has not paid off. And Williams is round. Williams is round in the background. That is it. And I was about to actually bring this up because these guys are going to have to come in soon. And they're all going to have to go on another set of softs. So Williams actually made a 200 IQ strategy, but it's not going to pay off because he's just burnt his tyres up.
Yeah, there was 2 corners in a row in the arena section that he slithered sideways. The first one he was able to save it and just run wide, albeit losing a lot of time, and the second one just looped it around. So Williams there, who was in danger of losing first, second, maybe even, you know, he may have even found himself down in 4th or 5th position after the stops. It's pretty much guaranteed now that he's going to find himself at least behind. At least behind the first 2, and probably also behind Marcin Rybacuk, because not only was Rybacuk just 2 seconds behind on the road where Williams is now, but he's also got the undercut. So I would be surprised if Rybacuk wasn't ahead of Williams. After Williams makes his next stop, as Johan Limburg there pits from 14th, he'll also be going on to another set of the yellow walled softs, and Terence Grech will probably do a similar thing.
Right, now that we've got a bit of a break, because I was having a think of this, you know, because obviously we were saying about how the more that Gosby pushes, the more that Lucas pushes, the less the more they're going to have to go onto those soft tyres again. That was a really smart move by Williams to go on the supers, because he knew that if he raced, that just makes sense now, because he knew that if he raced Gosby enough, they would slow themselves up and they would be fighting themselves so much that the tyres would wear out and they'd have to all go on softs. So track position was going to come really in handy for Williams here. And is he going to stay out? No, he's going to bail in. So Williams is going to try and trigger these top 3 pit stops. Now, this will be interesting to see where he comes out, because as we know, Rybacuk's pitted. Now, I am certain that Matthew Williams has got to go on softs to the end. I am certain of this. And if he doesn't go on to softs at the end, I'm going to question my existence at this point.
Yeah.
So he's in. He's on the jacks. He's off the jacks. And that is a set of... Alright, I'm gone. I'm gone. Wait, he's on a set of super softs. Where is Marcin Rybacuk? Well, that is... Oh! Yeah, so, Caitlin, you want to look behind Matthew Williams a second?
Okay, I got that wrong. Okay, well, at least that makes us even, because we both got something majorly wrong.
No,
there,
you're not wrong at all. You're not wrong at all, because Rybacuk has been stuck in traffic. If it wasn't for the traffic, Rybacuk would be past Williams.
True,
so this is going to be very close for the race lead come this final stint, Caitlin. But you've got to remember, Rybacuk can go harder for longer. Whereas these guys have got to conserve a bit if they want to get, if they want to get to the end. Although the one thing I'm going to look at is this nice and easy breeze past for Matthew Williams, because, well, I'm sorry, NetRex, but I don't think you have the top speed to compare with the red arrow that's literally breezing past you on the DRS. And yep, through it goes. Although moving under the braking though, that looked like, I'm not sure if that was because obviously outboard cameras, but that was it looked like he was moving. Now the leaders have stayed out again. Are they going to try and go to ultras for the final stint, Caitlin? Because I know it's possible when the car lightens up and the track rubber's in, but around here,
potentially.
Surely they're not going to be able to get to that 36, 37 on these.
I would be surprised if they didn't go for a set of reds in the next stint. I think that's definitely the safest and probably best strategy to go into. Although when drivers are fighting for race wins and championships, you can often see inspired decisions, and we might well end up seeing those. One thing I was going to say is that I am fairly sure that Red Arrow are going to wrap up the championship here, since Cosmos Hiki Japan have actually just lost one of their cars. Lazaros Philippakos has retired from the race with an engine failure on the main straight, so he's out, and that means all of their hopes lie on Lucas Schmidt. But realistically,
it'll be impossible.
Yeah, very true, very true.
because Cosmo Sega Japan would need 1-2s and for Red Arrow to not score here for
Red
it to
Arrow win?
still be realistic. So, as of now, Red Arrow are your 2019 Superleague Lights Constructors Champions. They won Formula Challenge last season. They've come into Superleague Lights and they have shown how it can be done. You know, 2 cars. You know, I know I'm gonna sound like, you know, 2 cars versus 1. So kudos to Lucas Schmidt for carrying that team, because Bell, he got so unlucky all year, did Mike Bell, and you've got to be honest, Mike Bell has been so unlucky this year. He's had so many issues that, you know, were out of his control. But, you know, Lucas Schmidt has pulled that team as far as he can in the terms of the constructors, getting win after win after win after win. It's just not enough when you've got such a consistent and strong lineup of Matthew Williams and Chris Butcher. You know, both of them proven to be able to drive at the front end, even in Super League. So, you know, this is the quality of drivers you're putting up against, again, another front end Super League driver of Lucas Schmidt. And when your teammate is going to have those issues, you know, it's just going to slowly start to eat in. But, you know, I have to give full kudos to Cosmo for putting on the show they have, for putting it on. But doesn't mean that the drivers' championship's gonna be, the driver race lead is gonna go down, gonna be summed up, because that is Lucas Schmidt trying to have a look at Gosby. He's gonna have to go to the outside, get the cutback off of the exit, and Gosby, he's getting a bit defensive of Lucas now. Oh, hello, we have a race lead fight on our hands. If these two slow each other up anymore, they're gonna have a Matthew Williams and Martin Riberchik breathing down their neck.
So towards the end of another lap of racing, it's Gosby leading from Schmidt. And we're still waiting. Oh, and Gosby pits. I was just about to say, we're still waiting for the leaders to make their final pit stop window, I suppose. Dive into the pits is more accurate, and I'm expecting reds. It's purple. It's purple from Gosby, so he is going for a fast into the end. Probably will have to conserve those tires a little bit, but we'll see how this ends up working for him. That means that when Schmidt pits, probably this lap or next lap, probably this lap, he is probably, I know I'm saying probably a lot.
Side by side, Williams and Gosby out of the pits!
Gosby
Turn 2, and Gosby's got him! Gosby's got Williams! Now, Williams needs to get past him this lap, otherwise Gosby is just going to pull away. End of story. And Riberchuk is out of this now. Unless these guys make a mistake, Riberchuk is out of this fight for the podium. Because where Gosby is, Schmidt's going to come out either ahead or just behind of Williams. So, here we go again. It's the same story all over again. But actually, no, Riberchuk, he's 3 seconds back. These guys are going to... I say they're back. Riberchuk could still do this. But, in the meantime, that's the DRS for Matthew Williams. And is that going to be a late braking lunge from Matthew Williams? No, it's not. He's going to conserve himself almost into the back of Gosby. But we've now got to see, does Schmidt come in this lap? Does he come in? Yes, he does. He bails in. So this has to be a set of ultras to the end for Lucas Schmidt. If it isn't a set of ultras, I think that's him staying out was completely worthless, because he's just going to have lost so much time. We'll see, he comes into the pits, he stops on the marks. Ultras to the end for Lucas Schmidt. Now this is the crucial part. Where is he going to come out in relation to Gosby and Williams? They are on his right. He's going to come out behind Matthew Williams through turn 1. So, change places, because Martin Gosby's in the lead, Matthew Williams is in second, even after that spin, remember? And Lucas Schmidt is out in third, and they are 3.5 seconds ahead of Riberchuk in fourth. I don't think Riberchuk should get... I think if Riberchuk keeps pushing, he's got this. He has got this when these tyres die.
I must say, I wasn't expecting Matthew Williams to be this close to Schmidt, let alone ahead of him. But whatever the case, as we go towards the DRS zone again, he may have a challenge for the lead. of the race here. All three of these have made their pit stops, and although Williams is theoretically on the slower tyres than these two, it won't affect him in the slipstream. He's now going to the outside of turn 12, braking around the outside of Martin Gosby. Gosby keeps the line and crucially gets ahead of him before the arena section. If he hadn't, Williams would have been entitled to keep his nose up the inside and slither through, but Martin Gosby there keeps the position, keeps the lead of the race. I was going to say that it doesn't matter what tyres you're on when you're in the slipstream, and also towards the end of the race Williams will have the advantage. So if Williams can get ahead, oh, he runs almost onto the sausage curb there, skateboards out wide a bit. If he can get ahead of Gosby now and stay ahead for the time being and prevent Gosby from stretching the legs of those ultra soft tyres, then Williams, I expect, will be in a strong situation for the end of this race. I said he was out of it earlier, I was wrong. Anyway, Gosby versus Williams and Schmidt for the lead of the race, separated by just 0.8 of a second. That is 0.8 of a second separating first, second and third. Bastian Paisler pits further back. He goes on to a set of ultras. I expect that everyone who pits from now on will be going on to a set of ultras. He's going to lose a place there to Matthew Clip, and I expect is going to come out in 12th position. Not going to be too close with Bastian Paisler. With Thomas Wach. And he does keep 12th position, so still in the points for him there. And that means that after the second set of stops, because Kiersmakers has also now stopped, it's Gosby leading from Williams, Schmidt, Rybachuk, Kiersmakers, White, Leonov, Butcher, Lalu and Hutchinson. I believe all of those drivers have made their stops. Actually, I'm not sure about Lalu. I think Lalu is still going to have to make a stop before the end of this race. Yes, he will, because he has only stopped once, and he's now on the ultra soft tyres. So he's probably going to take another set of ultra softs before the end of the race. DRS again will open for Williams and Schmidt as they head up towards turn 1. It's a difficult place to pull a move because the massive hill in front of them does tend to reduce the effect of the DRS a bit, as Jack Mayer pulls a move for 13th there, Alex.
Yeah, definitely indeed. And this is the one that's going to be interesting. Seeing what Schmidt could do. Sorry, I've just seen Schmidt get so close. Closes up so much on those ultras through the first sector. It is just unreal how much grip those ultras have got at the moment. But it's a case of, will they hold? And if they do, how much will they have left? And that is the big one. As they come onto the back straight, they're all going to have... Well, I was about to say they're all going to have DRS, but they're not all going to have DRS because Gosby is the leader of the train. All he's got to do is just keep the laps going. He's only got 10 laps of this when they cross the line to go. So plenty of time left. But no move really being done here. Everyone's sort of in their own little space at the moment, except for these guys. So it's such a close fight at the front, which is we've been waiting for. We've seen it so many times this season, but not for the entirety of the race. So it's great to see this racing here in the Superleague Lights series with one round to go.
Yeah, totally. I'm afraid we've also lost Kaz Rietveld from this race. He was right in the thick of the action at the start, although went out in an instant completely by himself, just lost control through the long sweeping turns 17 and 18 and went backwards into the barrier. So that's the end of his day. And that means that we have 22 drivers remaining in this race now, all of them on the lead lap. That's very good for this stage of the race, and all down to P18 within a second of the leader. So still, it feels relatively close, especially at the very front. Other battles that we have still, even Leonov has, well, he's now dropping back from White, although he wasn't too far behind him just before. He may have Chris Butcher on his tail end before long, as George Whitehurst pits further back.
Caitlin, the fight for second is getting close because Schmidt's to the inside of Williams. Late on the brakes, there's a squirm under the brakes. They're side by side, and I think Schmidt might be able to take this. He's got Williams on the inside there, banging wheels. There's a slide from the rear of that Cosmotake. He's going to dive to the inside of the double left. There's going to be no contact there. So millimeter perfect. And around the outside, now Schmidt's got the grip on these tyres. Will he be able to get around? No, he won't. He's going to have to sit behind Matthew Williams, who's going to be tighter to the inside. So this is going to be an interesting one, because they're out of DRS range of Gosby now. So Gosby can pull away. These guys are going to be fighting for second for the foreseeable few laps that we've got coming up. And this is what's going to be completely entertaining to watch.
Oh, goes to the outside. They lock wheels on the exit of turn 1, but Schmidt manages to keep the inside line for turn 2. This will be amazingly brave if he pulls it off. And as they head into the S's, he has to back out of it. Decides discretion's the better part of valor, but that was going to be a very, very brave move if he'd pulled it. To be honest, he probably should have backed off, because now he's ended up costing himself a lot of time. But despite banging wheels side to side, Williams keeps it, and crucially, they've actually both now dropped well out of the DRS zone of Gosby. 2.4 seconds is the gap for the lead at this point in time. So Gosby now has to take advantage from this and stretch his legs. Schmidt and Williams don't care about Gosby at all. Schmidt, I think, he wants to get past Williams despite the fact he knows he's got far more to lose in terms of the championship, and Williams will want to defend for his life. They both have to be aware that Williams really doesn't care if Schmidt goes off here.
Another thing to note, indeed, Schmidt could have had a go, but he went over that little orange anti-cut, coming through the hairpin onto the back straight. And I know I keep mentioning this, and I want it to be a reality, because Marcin Rybacek is so close to P3 right now. And he had his podium taken away due to penalties at Singapore via the disciplinary committee. He didn't get near the podium in Suzuka, and he is so close to having a potential podium here. And Schmidt and Williams are fighting so hard that there is that potential that he could just close up if these guys make a mistake. And we've seen Williams make a mistake. We've seen Schmidt make a mistake. These guys just need to not make these mistakes. And there is a very big potential that they can keep this second, third fight and not have to worry about the second CR Bluebos car. Was looking to make some very impressive gains in the team's championship, especially over HRT, who are only 5th and 12th at the moment. But that actually looks like a semi-decent exit for Lucas Schmidt. So here we go. Schmidt is going to get very, very close indeed. He's going to go to the inside of Matthew Williams into the right-hander. Job's a good one. Easily done. And he's going to have the job actually done for the right-hander. But Williams is going to dive up the inside. They're going to be side by side. I think Schmidt might hold this because he's got the inside unless Matthew makes a suicidal lunge. Locks the front left up. But oh my word, that was so close indeed. But Schmidt into second. These guys, they're gone now. So Williams has just got to hold the pace and just try and keep on the back of Lucas Schmidt. The team's title summed up. He knows that the driver's title is gone at this point. I hate to say it, but I just don't see Matt being able to, Lucas losing the amount of places that he's got to lose in the next 7 laps. But this is so, so close indeed. And even then, you could just see the grip that Schmidt has got compared to Williams through that first sector. He's just pulling away, and he's already almost a second ahead of Matthew Williams as they come towards the DRS line. And I think he actually is a second ahead coming towards the DRS line.
Oh, very nearly, yeah, very nearly. You have to say that Schmidt is going to keep pulling away from Williams unless his tyres wear towards the end of the race. So that was pretty much Williams's last chance of keeping that second place there. Remember, he needs to finish in the top 2 to have a chance of keeping the championship alive. However, he also needs Lucas Schmidt to drop well down the order, and that doesn't look like it's going to happen. Of course, if Schmidt was to DNF here, and I'm touching wood as I say this, you'll be pleased to know, but if he was, then Williams would keep the championship alive to the final round at Brazil. Although for Schmidt. He just needs to keep it clean and tidy for the last few laps of this race. We're on lap 41 now, so we've just got this and 5 other laps to go until the end. Martin Gosby appears to have it in the bag. Meanwhile, Leonov spun.
No, I'm having a look a bit further down. Matt Richards versus Thomas Vogt. Those two have been closing up on each other. They got Johan Lindberg closing in. This is obviously for the final couple of points, but Matt Richards, the strategy just hasn't worked. He was top 6 at the start of this race, and ever since that move to the hards, he has just gone down and down and down and down, and he's now somehow found himself in P14. But he made a beautiful move down the inside into the head before the back straight on Thomas Vogt, and Thomas Vogt has already dropped off the back of him because Matt Richards is on a fresh set of ultras. So the question now is, can Vogt hold on to the final points paying position? Because he has got a very quick Johan Lindberg behind him. Now, we all know how quick Johan Lindberg is, and we all know how quick the stacks can be. Can Johan... has Johan actually got points this year?
Johan Lindberg, let me just have a quick look.
Because I know Johan's not had the best of luck this year. I can't remember if his luck has been that bad.
He's had 3 top 10s. He's on 33 points, currently 20th in the championship overall.
There you go then. So he's got 3 top 10s. So can Johan get to the points, keep this point, his points tally alive? No, I knew his luck. I knew the stacks luck had been generally bad this year. Unluckily bad. So I was sort of like, now, is Williams dropping off the back of Schmidt and into the clutch of Rybachuk? Because I need to keep an eye on these laps.
Very much so, although I'm not sure that Rybachuk's going to catch him in
personal
time.
best for Rybachuk, 33.6, and it was only a 34.1 for Williams. Ooh, has Williams pushed those tyres too much? And is Rybachuk in prime position? And can he get him with 5 laps to go?
He's definitely pushing for it. I'm not sure that he's going to... it looks to me as if it might be too little too late, although we do still have 5 laps to go, so let's keep an eye on that gap there. Incidentally, Leonov's spin was at the turn 17-18 complex, which is a popular place to go for a spin. Went through the gravel, kept side to the wall, lost 7th place, now down to 9th. So Butcher takes 7th, Lalu takes 8th. And I tell you what, Lalu is a driver who's gained plenty of positions in this race because he starts 11th, so that's 3 positions up from his starting place there in a car that wasn't expected to do quite this well, with all due respect to the Netrex guys, and as a result, in a good position here. But yeah, Rybachuk definitely gaining on Williams as it stands.
Just another point. I'm just looking, down the order, and a great job by Lalu in that Netrex. Getting those guys some solid points. Actually, I think it's the first time that's going to be his best finish of the year. I think, which
probably
amazing to see. Jakub Lalu actually, spoke to him a few weeks ago at the M1 Endurance round at Bahrain, and he's a really nice guy. He's someone that really puts so much effort into his driving and so much effort into his practice and stuff. He really deserves these finishes, and it's great to see him, finally getting some confidence and getting up to speed in the car.
Yeah.
And he proved it. He won the M1 race, and he's now here doing so well here at Circuit of the Americas. But I know it's going to sound, a thing, but Mark Hutchinson's in the top 10 now.
Very much he is, yeah.
So he has gained 7 places over the course of this race on probably just strategy alone at this point, and making those tyres last. Also, I'm curious to see what he could have done had he been, had he not had had these guys. I'm curious to see what would have happened in this race had these guys, the top lot, not come together towards turn 1.
I've just had having a look at the statistics. This actually wouldn't be Lalu's best result of the season because he finished sixth at Monaco. So, and that of course was his first finish of the year. So
was that his first race of the year as well?
Second, he DNF'd from his first.
Ah, yes, of course. I did Spain because that was when Alpius left the team. Yes, no, I remember. I was trying to remember when he actually debuted in the season. But no, I forgot how well he did at Monaco, actually. And then again, we did see what Monaco was like, and that was entertaining to watch as well. Honestly, this whole year of Superleague Lights, and I know James Kirk made it very clear, has been so good to watch, and just cast and everything. It's been amazing this whole year, and I think you could agree with me, okay? It has been such a good season. All of the broadcasts we've done, just go back and watch them. They have been, every race has been full of action throughout the whole year, and as much as some of the races have been Schmidt domination, as the season's gone on, you can just see that progression of everyone getting closer, and it's quite scary.
Totally, yeah. Spain stands out to me as one of the highlights. Actually, that was one of the wetter races, and that was highly entertaining. Monaco, of course, is always entertaining in sim racing, but for very different reasons. And also the last couple of rounds as well. I very much enjoyed Singapore and Japan, which I commentated, and. Yeah, it's been a very good one, but then again, very difficult to have a series that isn't good with GPVWC and Simracing in general, especially with the cast that we have here and the cars that we have here, and yeah, it's quite a prestigious event within the Simracing community, despite being its inaugural season.
Small gap update on the podium, Caitlin. It was 3.6 off the back straight. It's gone up now for whatever reason.
Too little, too late, I'd say.
But yeah, too little, too late. They've got 2 laps to go. Oh, I want it to happen. I love Red Arrow, and David Feidick knows this. I love Red Arrow to pieces. But I want to see Rubachuk get a podium. I want it. The amount of times he's been so close to a podium. And it has just slipped away from him through any sort of means. I want to see him get a podium at some point this year.
Fair enough.
He has got so much speed underneath him, and I feel that strategy could have worked out so well for him.
4 top 5s so far this year, but no top 3s, so he's got very close.
The only top 3 he had was on track at Singapore.
Oh, did he get a penalty?
Was where the podium, because of was taken away due to an accident he had with Kean White, and a penalty was given. So technically he has, technically he hasn't, but of course we know he's got the speed there. But who else has got the speed there? Well, we've got a lap to go still, but Martin Gosby. Oh my word.
Gosby's just been so good this season. When did
he come in?
Came in for Germany. DNF from his first 2 races, and ever since
then... He came in
then...
at Hockenheim and got taken out by spinning back marker, which, was unfortunate. That was one of the rounds we didn't broadcast, which is a shame, because it was actually quite a nice race. We then... when did he then... DNF'd at Spa, because he crashed on that one. Whoops. But that was, that happened. And ever since then, he has been so consistently up the front, so consistently on the pace.
Second in Italy, followed by 3 victories. That's pretty good, if you ask me.
That is Lucas Schmidt dominance good. Like, imagine what Gosby could have done had he been here at the start of the year and had he focused on Superleague Lights.
Totally.
Is all I can think of at this moment.
Could he have stopped Schmidt from getting 6 straight wins? Well, I say 6 straight wins. He did miss Turkey, which separates Schmidt's 6 straight wins, although it was 6 straight wins as far as Schmidt was concerned, if that makes sense. Schmidt, incidentally, but despite the fact he missed Singapore and Turkey, if you don't count that, he's actually on a roll of 10 podiums in a row, which is going to continue today. So he's going to make it 11 podiums today. But meanwhile, we have to focus our attention on Martin Gosby, who is entering the final sector of the final lap.
And all we can do, take our hats off, wave them in the air, and clap. Martin Gosby has run a near perfect. Well, I say a near perfect race. He nearly loses it on the final lap. So there's still enough of a bottle in there for you, Martin. But through the final corner, it has been a display of near perfection. Gosby will win the 15th round of the championship. He will deny Lucas Schmidt another win. It will be 3 in a row.
Rybachuk crashed in the final lap.
Oh no! And Rybachuk's gone off in the long right-hander before turn 15. He's going to finish 5th, but that promotes Kearsmakers into P4.
It does. Meanwhile, we have to declare our champion as well, because Schmidt has made it to the flag. He has won the inaugural Superleague Lights Championship. He's doing donuts with Gosby in turn 1. Technically, you're not allowed to do that, but to be honest, I don't think anyone's
Well,
going
it's
to care.
past turn 1. Oh, Lalo and Butcher, that's going to be close for P7.
Oh,
that
Butcher got
was
it back.
close. That was close indeed. I just saw that. I saw the gap closing down. So I'll go through like the top. I'll go through the point scorers of this race for you. So that is Martin Gosby, winner 3 in a row. Lucas Schmidt, your 2019 GPVWC Super League Lights inaugural champion. History in the books for Red Arrow. History in the books for Lucas Schmidt and for Cosmo Seiki Japan with their drivers champion. Then third place, Matthew Williams. It was such a valiant effort all year. He's done so amazing all year to try, and keep that championship alive to the bitter end. But it just was not enough for Matt. Fourth place, Laurent Kearsmakers. Amazing season by him. He's still kept it going. He's still got a round to go, but he is in a very close fight with Mark Hutchinson, actually, for fourth place in the driver. So that's still going on for the next round. Fifth place, Martin Riverchuk. Great drive by him. Sixth, Kian White. So Kian actually ended up finishing sixth. Seventh, Chris Butcher. Eighth, Jakopeka Lalu. Ninth, Ivan Lenov. 10th, Mark Hutchinson after the issue early on the first lap. Paisler 11th. So a great finish by Bastian Paisler. 12th for Matthew Clitt. 13th for Jack Mayer. 14th for Matt Richards after what could have been. 15th and the final points paying position for Johan Lindberg. He did get a point. And I think that is probably the best outcome for him at this point. But what a race! What a race! Action all the way through, non-stop until the very, very end. And I know we shouldn't, but I want to do some interviews because I want to speak to a couple of drivers in particular, and you know who I want to speak to because
Totally.
what a season, And as much as we've still got one round left, we have got those titles that need to be clear, like those titles, and the driver's title has been summed up. Now the teams has been summed up. It has been an amazing race here today, and obviously Gosby, he's coming, and ever since he's sort of shown up, he's sort of basically upset the establishment. And, amazing driving by him to push himself so high up so quickly. And, Matt Williams. What a drive today to keep that pressure on. He did he pushed on so much and gave the pressure to absolutely everyone, but it just wasn't to be today. And, I think the first person we're going to speak to has to be our 2019 Super League Lights champion, Lucas. You've done it. Hooray. You've done it with a round to go.
Yeah. Oh my God, that race. That was a tough one.
I was gonna say, I don't think there was ever a dull moment in that race for you at all, Lucas. I think the first thing we've got to ask, A, how does it feel to be the 2019 the inaugural champion? And B, what the hell happened that race to you? Because that was, I was expecting you to be, to sort of be with the top three of the whole race and, just maybe take a win out of it.
Yeah, I mean, it feels very good. A lot of pressure on our gun. It was a tough season. Matthew did always a great job, and a lot of races have been close, but yeah, it was very nice. But yeah, today, it started basically at the start where I made a little mistake into turn one, and I think crashed with Hutchinson. I'm not sure. I didn't even saw the car behind me, so I had a lot of damage on the left side of the car, so I was a lot slower than I could have been in the whole race, and didn't really have a great feeling for the car, so it made it really difficult to stay with the other guys in the dirty air. But yeah, it was a very nice fight, and in the end, in the final stint. And yeah, Gosby was probably a bit too quick today.
Yeah, for sure. And I know, before we go on to some extra stuff, I think it's about time we bring him in here, otherwise I'm not going to stop getting PMs from him for the rest of the year now. Josh, you've struggled through some years here at GPVWC with the team, and you come into Superleague Lights. You bring in Lucas Schmidt, admittedly through Mike Bell basically threatening you almost, but it's all paid off. How does it feel having your own driver? Because obviously, as a team, I've learned this by now, but how does it feel as a team owner to have your team just take something like this?
Well, I mean, the team's championship has obviously gotten a red arrow. So first of all, I just want to say well done to them. They've done a fantastic job this season, obviously, with that. But well, from the minute we got Lucas in, I just kind of knew he was going to be something special. And well, just to actually be in this situation now, where we've actually managed for the very first time to take a drivers' championship, it's phenomenal, really. And hats off entirely to Lucas for the phenomenal job he's done throughout the season. I mean, even the races he didn't do, he was always there supporting her. And well, I mean, he has really pushed so hard this season. He's really wanted it, and the highs and the lows he's come through. And I just want to take a moment to thank everybody involved with the team. I mean, Mike Bell, obviously, who not only threatened us into signing Lucas in the first place, but also has really been so helpful as well. And he's been great. He's been driver as well, spotted for him this race, obviously, because he hasn't been very well. Lazarus Falaparkos as well drove for us this race, and has been doing a lot of behind the scenes work with us too. And April Carlsvard as well, who was the reserve driver for the first half of the season, and well, she was so helpful as well. But ultimately, at the end of the day, it comes down to just how brilliant Lucas has been this season. And well, we're the first ever team to have a drivers' champion in Superleague Lights. No one can take that away from her. No one can take that away from Lucas. And well, now we just got to look forward to 2020 and enjoy this last race.
Caitlin, have you got any questions to ask at all?
Oh my god, you caught me completely off guard there. Not really, but I just I just want to say absolute congratulations for winning that. That must mean a lot to both of you there, Lucas for winning the drivers' championship, and also to Joshua for fielding him to that. So yeah, the biggest congratulations to both of you. You've got it around early.
You shouldn't be thanking me, you should be thanking Mike. I mean, he was the one who suggested him. But no, Mike has been a bit of a bad luck sponge this season. So that, I guess, if he hadn't run it in so much bad luck, we might have mounted a better run for the teams. And I want to thank Red Arrow again. Congrats to you guys. We're the team's champions, and maybe we'll both see each other in Super League in 2020.
Sorry, even you're doing the same thing as me, Josh, getting Red Arrow and Red Archer mixed up this season.
I can't help it. I'm just happy because we won a thing for once.
Congrats to both of you guys, honestly. And, is there anything else at all, Caitlin, obviously?
Well, as I said, congrats to both of you, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in Super League next season.
Well, I mean, all bets are off. We'll be pushing for it.
Sure, yeah.
I mean, if we've got the reigning world champion from Super League Lights, how could we not be in?
Oh, you never know. But obviously, Lucas.
Go get it, guys.
Yeah, honestly, Lucas, 2019, it's your year, man. You got one race to chill and just go for glory. You've done amazing this year, and I think that's all we can say from you for this one. Amazing job, man, and thank you for coming and joining us.
Yeah, thank you very much.
So, the next one we will have, I think we'll go... Nah, I'm going to leave them to last. So, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to bring in the race winner for today. It's Sir Martina Gosby, and Martin, that was pretty much perfect, I think, in terms of how that race went for you. Am I right or am I wrong?
Well, it was pretty intense. Williams and Schmidt both gave it their all. I hope I gave enough space when we was battling each other. So yeah, it was interesting. It was fun.
Well, you qualified right on the sweet spot. You had the pace the whole race, and I think at one, I'm assuming that when you saw that Martin went onto the softs for the end, I'm probably assuming you guys, were probably speaking to each other and saying, go long for that final stint, or was that a completely just self-made decision because of where you guys were?
Well, unfortunately, me and Ribachek don't really speak. I just get to nick his setup and drive. So, uh, yeah, the plan was ultra soft, ultra soft, and it was slightly marginal, but it was fine in the end.
Well, ever since you've come in here, you've been unsettling. That's it, unsettling the establishment, and you know, you've proven that you already, even without trying, one of the quickest drivers in Super League Lights. I know you said to me, earlier on that you were focused on FSR for the World Championship, and even then you were still fighting Lucas Schmidt at the front, even with the couple of mistakes that came through. But great to see. And Caitlin, is there anything to really ask from? Is there anything you want to ask?
So Martin, you have come in and, as we keep saying, completely upset the establishment. You've obviously found something in this car that the others haven't. What's the secret to unlocking the Super League Lights car?
Not turning too much. I mean,
Not turning. Got it. I'll try that next time I'm
Yeah,
driving this thing.
turn less, and then the tires won't overheat. So, I don't know. It's just I drove it originally back in Spain earlier this year, and I was quite awful. And Turkey again, I was bad, but put a few more laps in, and I don't know. It's a good feeling, like for the tires at least.
Thank you very much, and congrats on your 3 wins in a row, a hat trick of victories, pretty much right from the start of your Super League Lights campaign. I expect to see you in Super League next year, and whatever you decide to do, we wish you the best of luck.
Thank you.
Well, I think that brings us to the final set of interviewees for this one, Caitlin. And they've driven well. Chris has driven amazingly all year. Chris, good to have you. And David, I think you're going to be the proudest man on the flipping planet at this moment, aren't you, my friend? Because we know how hard you've worked. You guys at Red Arrow have worked for this. We know how much effort and how many laps you guys put in, and taking the inaugural Super League Lights Championship. Taking a championship is a big thing anyway, because you took the Formula Challenge one last year, but an inaugural championship in a series that as competitive as this, it's got to feel good, isn't it?
Hell yeah. God, man. I'm so proud of the guys, all 3 of them, Chris, Matt, DJ, for all the testing he's done to keep the car upgraded and so strong all season. Wow, yeah. After the highs of last year, you wonder when the next one's going to come, especially in a league like this, like you said, so close, so competitive. Every single race is so close, 1 second separating the top 15 in quali and sometimes closer. So, yeah, to have my guys consistently every single race be in the top 5, top 10, podiums, wins, it's amazing feeling. I'm so proud of the guys.
Yes, especially in Chris, you've put in so much hard work this year, and it's just you have been the bad luck magnet of Red Arrow. Let's be perfectly honest. I think Melbourne, you got how long into the race did the Chris Butcher space program take place into Melbourne again? Because we hadn't even got a race into the season, and you'd already been sent to space by turn 3. So, you've done it. You've done such an amazing drive this year, especially with the bad luck you've had, especially with the issues that you've had. It's definitely, I think, definitely something that you can be probably proud of, that even though there are things that you want to improve for next year.
Yeah, definitely. It was a painful start to the year, obviously, with those incidents being, launching the Butchie space program, and just generally, the results weren't really there after a lot of testing and what have you. So we had to make some changes, and eventually we started getting some consistent results. So a bit of a shame that the damage was done to my championship charge at the beginning of the year, but really good to sort of deliver for the team and deliver another team's title.
For sure, indeed. Caitlin?
So, where are we going to see you next season, and what are your aims?
I guess that's for Mr. Fidek to answer, but I'm planning on staying with Red Arrow. Obviously, we've enjoyed a lot of success together, so I guess it sort of depends what opportunities come the team's way, and you know what Mr. Fidek would like to do, I guess.
Well, congrats for your well done in your effort this year, and good luck in the future.
Thanks very much.
Go on, David. Where are you going to be next year? Super League?
Fly to Malta for GPV Day and find out.
Have a couple beers, yeah?
We're still planning.
Enjoy that, yeah.
The plan was to win both titles as we go up through each league. We haven't got the drivers this year, so I'm still considering another year in lights to win both, or I don't know. We'll see.
Come on.
GPV Day. Stay tuned.
You're going to keep it secret until GPV Day, and that's when we're going to find out. Because that's when the sign-ups will be announced, most likely. So, yeah, we'll find out then who gets accepted into next season as well. Because that's the big one, actually. GPVWC Day is usually, for those who are new here, because we had a lot of new influx come in this year. For those who don't know, it's a massive meetup we have at the end of the year between all of us here at the GPVWC, and usually that is when we find out who has been assigned to which division of, the career ladder. Now, Mr. Fidek here is basically saying that we're going to find out on the day. So we know how good you are at keeping your word and hiding information from us in terms of, the where you are going for next year. So I hope we want to see you in Super League because you and the team have definitely got that. Have definitely got that fight in you to do it. But of course, obviously, your own personal preferences are what happens. So, we'll see where you see you next year.
Well, the sad thing is for us that the league runner wheel is so secretive, we don't know where we're going to be until GPV Day. So we will have to wait.
Yeah, none of us actually. Even I don't know where us at Chaos are going to be.
I thought we were a Super Cup this year, but like GPV Day, we were in Superleague Lights, so I didn't even know we were going to be doing this. So anyway,
well, you made a pretty good job of it.
Well, there we
go. It's been an amazing year. It's been one that you guys could hold your heads high and be proud of. And I definitely think that going on to next year, wherever you are, it's definitely going to be a good year for you guys, especially with the morale boost you've got from this year.
Yeah, damn right. And less holidays for Chris.
Yeah, Chris, stop slacking.
Well, I do actually have a honeymoon next year. I'm getting married next year, so we'll have to see how that.
I'm going to have to speak to Sammy, put that in your contract.
Get no honeymoons until the end of the year or the summer break.
Yeah.
No, it's been an amazing year. Thank you guys for coming on, and we will see you. We'll see you for the final race in 2 weeks' time at these Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache.
Cheers, and congrats to Lucas for the first ever driver's title in lights, and Martin for the win. Well done.
Well, Caitlin, I've just been doing some maths during the interviews because I wanted to see what the points gap was going to be between TR and HRT for third. And as I know Martin's here and he can hear me, it's 18 points. The difference. This is unofficial, obviously, because we still have penalties and such that could potentially go through. 18 points, Caitlin. Going into the final race, third place is extremely possible for TR Bluevos now. And if that's a win for Gosby, then already you're looking at Kizmakers needing to finish fifth to even have a hope of, or one of the HLCs finishing fifth for them to have a hope of keeping that third.
Well, Alex, there are 25 points for a victory, there are 20 for second, and there are 2 cars. I'd say that it's very much still doable for that position, and it's going to be a race to watch, even though both of the championships have been wrapped up. We know that Super League Lights provides excitement every single time. So for that reason, and for many others, I definitely won't be missing the final round at Sao Paulo.
I don't think any of us will, indeed, Caitlin. And speaking of the next rounds, the next round of the the Superleague Lights, obviously, will be in 2 weeks' time at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache. And, well, as it's more formally known, the Interlagos circuit in the sunny Sao Paulo city of Brazil. The next race we have on the schedule on the calendar is tomorrow, same time, same place. It's the Super League. The big boys take to the circuit of the Americas. And, well, that's a very, very, very big race indeed, especially with the fact that Evolution have already got that title summed up. So it's going to be all guns blazing for the rest of the season. We then move on to next week, Tuesday. Well, we've got nothing, ladies and gentlemen. No academy. That has finished for now. Wednesday, we got Formula Challenge at the Autodromo Jose Carlos Pache, the first of the Career Ladder Series to take to the Brazilian circuit. And oh boy, that is going to be a very interesting one indeed. We then move on to Super Cup for their final round of the season. The Drivers' Championship is summed up. Jason Muscat took that last night. But as far as I'm aware, the teams are still wide open. So we've still got a very nice championship to go there indeed. But, ladies and gentlemen, from us here at the Super League Lights broadcast team, from myself, from Caitlin, and honestly, I can't thank this guy enough, Dawe, who I know can hear me very loud and clearly right now. Thank you so much, dude, because Dawe, I'm going to explain this a bit because he deserves a bit of recognition because it's not often that people step up to help us out in such a last minute thing. But today we were having some issues with broadcast. Basically, my own equipment that I usually use basically died on me. So Dawe offered up and basically went, if you can connect to my PC via TeamViewer, do it and use my PC for the broadcast tonight. So honestly, Dawe Tapper is an absolutely amazing guy. And I can't thank him enough for all the help he's done tonight and helping me and getting everything set up on his end. So, this guy deserves everything. So thank you so much, Dawe. Thank you so much, Caitlin, for joining me tonight. It's been a pleasure, as always, commentating alongside you. Well, there's no point in thanking myself. But, thank you everyone for watching. It's been an absolute pleasure. And we will see you in 2 weeks' time for the Brazilian Grand Prix here in Super League Lights. But it's goodbye for now.